is what flows in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
What's good, everybody? Welcome to Dope Interviews, brought to you by the mighty 19 Media Group. I'm your host, Warren Shaw. And in the virtual building today, I have yet another amazing guest. She's a lawyer, public speaker, a mom, of course, but more importantly, for the purposes of this conversation, not more importantly, but purposes of this conversation, she is the founder of HBCU Week, Ashley Christopher. Ashley, welcome to Dope Interviews. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, it's nice of you to say that. You know, you are a woman of town. You have lots of things going on. It's super busy within this space. And I know you've done a million of these interviews, but for our guests here who might be the uninitiated to the work that you're doing with HBCU Week, can you tell me a little bit about the impetus, the why behind, HBCU Week, how you got involved to it? I know obviously you went there, but talk to us a little bit more about that journey.
Yeah, so HBCU Week, I started here in my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware back in 2017. And it was really inspired by my time at Howard University. I had the pleasure of serving as the vice chair of Howard Homecoming while I was there. It gave me a clear backdrop on large-scale event planning. The impact that Howard had on my life, or still has, is often difficult to put into words. And I went on to another HBCU for law school, the David A. Clark School of Law at the University of DC. So I count it as a personal responsibility to expose as many students who look like me to the opportunities of attending an HBCU. So when I put this event together, if you will, it started out as just a small college fair-like activation in my hometown of Wilmington, Delaware, because I wanted the students here to know that not only was college an option for them, but I wanted them to be exposed to the opportunities of attending an HBCU. So when I started to market this opportunity, I planned for about 200 kids back in 2017, and we had 700 show up. So I knew that if there was an appetite like that in Wilmington, Delaware, for an HBCU education, that this could absolutely be expanded and then taken across the country.
Circling back to, even your work or your beginning in HBCUs, especially at Howard, is that where, from a familial standpoint, is that where you always wanted to go? Like, how did you get there to begin with? Because a lot of, people like us, hey, sometimes it's not that. I'm older school, if you will. I grew up watching Different World and Hillman and understanding even what that was kind of like. So for you, what was that journey for? How would I go? Sorry.
It's actually funny. Both of my parents, they are not HBCU alum, but they encouraged me, my sister, and my brother to choose an HBCU. My mother graduated from Temple, my father from Drexel. They always wanted an HBCU experience, but didn't have it. So they were the reasons why we turned our eye to say, hey, maybe we should check out these institutions. And my sister is really the one to credit for my time at Howard, because initially you couldn't tell me anything different. I was going to Spelman. Spelman was my number one school, but I ended up going to an all-girls Catholic high school. So I didn't really want that all-girls experience again. And then my sister ended up going to Howard University. She's 2 years older than me. And she was a dancer on the Ooh La La dance team, and they're band dancers. And I went down to see her perform my freshman year while I was my junior year, while I was in high school. She was a freshman, and I was sold. That was the place for me, and there was nothing that anyone else could say to change my mind.
Yeah. It's so interesting, right? Because I think exactly what you're saying, that happened to you. Yeah, you're trying to create that experience, I think, for others. Like, you get that exposure, and sometimes you don't know what you don't know, right? And I think for a lot of people who look like us, those larger schools can come calling, and you feel like, okay, because they're the ones you see on TV, a lot more, and they have a little bit more advertising. But to be able to dig into that experience, you need to see the experience to even kind of know what you're missing. And I think that's what you're doing with the HBCU Week experience in general. Yeah. So obviously you said 2017, it jumped out the window with success. I think immediately, how do you handle that level of success early on? Because I'm going to ask you this question a couple of times kind of throughout this conversation. We live in a what have you done for me lately society. So first year, all that success, how do you jump into the next year, not even expecting to have that much success the first time?
Yeah. I mean, the phrase, we're building the plane as we're flying it. That's how we've been, making this happen over the last several years. But honestly, that background that I got at Howard University, large scale event planning. As vice chair of Howard Homecoming, it taught me how to really stand up and activate events. So I knew that when we had that kind of appetite in Wilmington, that we could expand this into an authentic HBCU homecoming like experience. So after that year, we decided to expand into several days. So we turned it into an activation here in Wilmington, Delaware, where students could get the full gamut of what an HBCU homecoming looked like. We did all the fun things, concert, comedy show, panel discussions, battle of the bands. But that cornerstone event is our college fair, because that's where students can compete for on-the-spot acceptances into college and scholarship awards. And so that's where all the magic really happens.
So as you talk about that on the spot acceptance, I'm sure that creates a lot of joy in the moment. I think for those students and those families, can you talk to us about, again, whether it was the first time that happened, or what was the most memorable experience that you've had from producing this event for the last 7-8 years?
Oh my gosh. So it is absolutely the scholarship opportunities. So the laser focus that we have in our foundation is to really raise as much dollars as we can, as many dollars as we can, to contribute to the cost of higher education. Every year, it costs more and more for students to go to school. And unfortunately, our HBCUs cannot compete with predominantly white institutions when it comes to merit-based scholarships. So you'll have students with these stellar academic backgrounds want nothing more than to go to an HBCU, and maybe they get into Howard or North Carolina A&T or Spelman or Delaware State University, but they have these other competing schools that can offer them a full ride while the HBCU cannot. So what we look to do is to fill that gap so the student can go to their choice school. Our most popular scholarship is our STEM scholarship. So I was able to broker a $40 million partnership with the American Chemistry Council, whereby we are giving away $40,000 scholarships to students who declare a STEM major and attend an HBCU. And we've given away just over 550 of those scholarships so far. We have 110 of those scholars at North Carolina A&T. We have 74 of them at Howard University. There are 44 HBCUs represented with those scholarship recipients through our foundation. So what we do on a daily basis is go to these companies and advocate for these dollars. Our most significant dollar amount, I would say, we just landed a partnership with the AstraZeneca company here in Wilmington, Delaware, where they're offering full rides. So three very deserving students will each receive $133,000 to go to their choice HBCU, right? So it's really about minimizing that student debt and giving these students the opportunity to attend the schools that they really want to go to.
Free and clear, huh? That's
Yes.
that is the move. So you're a lawyer as well, right? So you understand the negotiation. I don't know. So is it contract law that you studied specifically, or what type of law was it?
Yeah, so when I was in school, there's not really any particular majors. Everybody learns the general practice. But after I did finish law school, I went into a 3-year clerkship program. So I worked in family court, I worked in the court of common pleas, I worked in superior court. And after that long journey, passing the bar in 2 different states, I decided the traditional practice wasn't for me.
I heard that.
As a creative, being a traditional lawyer just puts you into a box that is just so restrictive. The skill set that I got from law school, though, is transferable. I can use that in any industry. And it works a lot with my negotiating, with my public speaking, with my putting together these programming events, always mitigating risk, making sure we're getting the best reward. So I am very grateful for my law degree and that experience, but I just didn't choose to go the traditional route. It wasn't for me.
Wow, we have some similarities, because I was going to pursue law when I did legal studies. I didn't actually go to law school. I realized early enough that I was like, nah, not going to be able to do. But at the end of the day, the reason I asked, because I think, when you're talking about these, multi-million dollar, donations and scholarships that you're able to get into, just when you're trying to approach a company, about the work that you're doing, what resistance, if any, are you having, and how are you utilizing the law degree in essence, or maybe however, like your negotiation tactics to maybe convince somebody who may not be as willing to pony up, hundreds of millions of dollars?
Yeah, the best thing that I've done when I show up to these conversations is just to be authentically me. The passion comes out, right? The love that I have for HBCUs and these students and the experience I want them to have, it just comes out in conversation. And when you feel that authenticity, it's often difficult to say no. We don't always land the $40 million partnerships, right? But we do have a lot of partners that align with our mission, that feel the authenticity, that love the work that we're doing, and our missions are aligned. So when you do choose your path, when you do decide which route you do want to go, when you're authentic, when you love it, when you're passionate about it, it shows through and the success will follow you.
Yeah, I mean, and that's an amazing thing to hear. I think with HBCUs, for some companies, they may like, all right, well, it's too restrictive, right? So, but we've also gone through some semblance of social change, over the last, half decade, if you will. So I don't know if it's easier or harder, I think, at this stage for you now. What would you say it is? Has it gotten easier because like companies like, what, we need to do this? And I'm going to be honest, like some people want to check a box and then some people actually want to help. Right. But either way, that the money's still green, and as long as the check's still clear and these families get to go, I guess it shouldn't matter. But have you found the work to be easier since some of the earlier events in the last half decade?
I will say initially around the 2020 mark, there were a lot of companies pouring in wanting to get involved with what we were doing. But we pride ourselves in our foundation. We don't participate in any transactional relationships, right? It has to go deeper than that. For example, the FOSSI Scholarship, the Future of STEM Scholars Initiative that I addressed earlier, that's not just a $40,000 scholarship. These students are getting matched with a mentor. They get matched with an internship, year-round programming, and the goal is post-graduation job placement. So we're not just giving checks and saying, hey, see you later, but we're checking in with our students. They become our family. So we don't do anything based purely on transaction. And we have had people that have approached us to somewhat check a box. And when we see and kind of feel that, we move in a different direction. Because it doesn't really align with our mission and what we want to do. The authenticity, the brand, supporting these Black students means the world. And if, our missions don't align, that's okay. Maybe we could find another way to work together at a later date, or maybe it just doesn't work. But we pride ourselves in, really authentic relationships and alignment with companies whose missions are similar to ours.
I mean, that's hella dope, actually, honestly, and not a lot of companies are able to say that. Sometimes they just have to take what's presented to them, box checking or not. So if you're able to maintain the integrity of what you're trying to do behind it, I mean, that's so big. So kudos to you and your team, for being able to do that and put that into place. I'm going to just take an assumption here by now. So with it, going into year 7, 8 here, right? Have you helped maybe multiple families, siblings, at this stage, of your journey with this HBCU week?
Oh my gosh. So after we finished year 7, we had serviced 45,000 students and families. Just last year, we had 13,000 students attend our college fair in Wilmington, Delaware. We have been able to, since 2017, offer more than 8,000 college acceptances on the spot. We've raised and awarded more than $87 million in scholarship awards. And sometimes it is for siblings. Sometimes it is for family members, and it's exciting when you make those phone calls, right? Because you're calling them to say, hey, you're the recipient of a $40,000 or $50,000 or $25,000 scholarship award. And a lot of times, these students wouldn't be able to choose these universities without this money. And if I'm being honest, the parents are celebrating much more than the students, because they're the ones responsible for the checks. But it's just a fantastic display of being able to do the work, being able to sustain some impact and help these students cross the finish line and, get started on whatever their dreams may be.
We're chatting with Ashley Christopher, the founder of HBCU Week, here on Dope Interviews. Let's take a quick break, y'all, and we'll be right back. Are you ready to amplify your fantasy sports game? PrizePicks is here to make your basketball season even more exhilarating. Imagine transforming a modest $10 entry into a staggering $1,000. Whether you're rooting for basketball, baseball, or diving into the realm of esports, PrizePicks caters to all. If you're looking for promotions, PrizePicks has got you covered every week. From lowering select player stat projections on Tuesdays, which increases your chance of getting a win, to getting your entry fees back if you have a losing lineup on Fridays. I grew up playing baseball, and I'm also enjoying the wave of excitement in the WNBA. You can be sure I'll be mixing and matching my picks from across leagues. Why wait? Get the Prize Picks app today and use the promo code CLNS to match your first deposit up to $100. Your selections can include projections like Jason Tatum for more than 10 rebounds, Luka Doncic for more than 29 points, Caitlin Clark for more than 3.5 3-pointers, and even Breanna Stewart for more than 23 points. Make sure to use the promo code CLNS for your deposit match. Let's conquer the fantasy sports world together. Pick more, pick less using the code CLNS at PrizePicks, and stick around for more insightful discussions right here on Dope Interviews. And we're back here with Ashley Christopher. Make sure you're following her great work at HBCU Week. At exactly what I just said. You can follow them at HBCU Week on all social media channels. Actually, let's turn it into a little bit of the events, but also I'll get a little controversial with you. All right. So Howard is for a lot of people, it's the HBCU that most people know, right? So you went there with KCB, but you're from the Delaware area. So did you get some pushback and saying like, well, why aren't you doing this HBCU Week, in DC near Howard or where the case would be versus Delaware where you're from?
I didn't get any pushback about the location. And my hometown means the world to me. I'm a Wilmington girl and I see students every day. I've dedicated my life's work to make sure students have this kind of access. So there was really no question for me about where I would start this opportunity. A lot of students in my hometown don't even feel like they're college material or college is an option. So starting here was the best place to sustain that kind of impact.
All right. So is National Pan-Hellenic involved in this at all? Do you get the Greeks to kind of come out and join the whole festivities?
You know what I do? I had the opportunity at Howard. I was initiated into the Alpha chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated.
Oh, yeah, Delta? That's what's up.
Yes. So, my line sisters, listen, that is a long, life-lasting relationship forever. And we always get the Pan-Hell involved in our events. So they activated our college fairs. They come with information about the year-round program they have for current high school students and the scholarship opportunities. So we always have the Pan-Hellenic Council involved in our events. It's very important to showcase that part of the HBCU culture.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, and again, it seems like you're definitely covering all gamuts of that. So tell us a little bit about, what's happening in Wilmington here within the next week. What are some of the events that you're looking forward to and that everybody else should be looking forward to as they get set to head out to Delaware?
Oh, absolutely. So HBCU Week Wilmington, it kicks off on Sunday. It'll go from Sunday, September the 22nd through Sunday, September the 29th. So a full 8-day stretch of events. We're going to kick it off with a gospel brunch. A lot of HBCUs were founded in church basements. We always think it's important to start off with that gospel brunch. Most homecomings will start off with a convocation service. From there, we'll do a 5K. It's important to keep your body moving, especially in our community, to maintain your health. On Tuesday, we will do a middle school college tour. So we round up some middle school students from the Wilmington, Delaware area and take them down to Delaware State University, where they can experience a day in the life of a college student. We don't think it's ever too early to start that process. On Wednesday, we're having a really cool concert that's going to feature Lady London, Jadakiss, and JT right here in Wilmington. I'm very excited about that. Thursday, we'll do a panel discussion at one of our local high schools to bring them an HBCU experience from some current alums so they can get firsthand information about that college campus life. And then on Friday, we have our cornerstone event, that college fair. That's where students can come and compete for the on-the-spot college acceptances and scholarship awards. Our brand ambassador, Stephen A. Smith, will be there. He always loves to come, engage with the students, give them some inspiring words, and talk about his HBCU experience as a Winston-Salem State University alum. And then on Saturday, we'll do a block party, an HBCU block party downtown Wilmington. We have 20 plus vendors, a DJ, a host, games, just a great time for the whole family to enjoy. And then we'll wrap it up on Sunday with our Battle of the Bands at Frawley Stadium. So we have Delaware State University, Lincoln University, Morgan State University, and Virginia State University. So that's going to be a fantastic event. So I encourage everybody to check us out. HBCUweek.org. All the information is there if you'd like to attend. The only ticketed events are our Battle of the Bands. Tickets are only $15. And then our concert. General admission for the concert is $40. Everything else is free. Oh, I'm sorry. Our gospel brunch is also $40, but everything else is free. If you want to come by our block party, attend a panel discussion, it's going to be a great time for the whole family to enjoy. So I encourage everybody to check it out.
You are a spokesperson and a half. I'm tired just listening to you run down the event. How's
Oh
everybody
yeah,
going to get this, 8
yeah.
days of activity? Like, yo, you
I
wilding. That's crazy. I
No,
mean,
it is
people
crazy.
break it
It
up.
is. It's crazy, but I have a fantastic team.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, my team is amazing. Without them, we would not be here. I mean, this is not work that I can do in a silo or by myself. So I'm very grateful for the team that I have around me that helps me to lift this up. We're all HBCU alum. We love the work, and it's really important to us all.
Couple last ones before I let you, get to all the planning and get some rest for all that cadence of events. You're doing some stuff in Disney later in the year as well too. So is that the first year that it's doubling, or have you been in Disney World before? Excuse my ignorance, on the question.
Yeah, no, not a problem. So this is our second time in Disney. We do
Okay.
Disney every other year. So our first year was in 2022. We do a VIP reception, we do a college fair, and we have some fun in the park. So this year in Disney, we'll have our VIP reception on October the 23rd, which is a Wednesday. Then our college fair is Thursday, October the 24th. Last time in Disney, we had about 9,000 students, so I'm anticipating a larger number.
Jeez.
And then we'll enjoy some park time after that to decompress.
Yeah, it sounds like it'll be well deserved.
Yes,
You're
yes.
staying on the grind. You're producing these amazing events, for these families. And I'm excited to see it be successful as it always is, man. I wish I could get
Thank you.
to one of them myself. I got to do better planning with my dates and alignment. But I definitely want
Well,
to.
we'd love to have you. We'd love to have
Yeah. You got the fire hoodies and stuff like that, man.
you.
You're
Yeah,
out
I
here
have
doing
to
the
send
damn
you
thing.
one. Give me your information. I got to send you one.
I got you. Last couple. So, back in college, and even if you are talking about your own events here right now, what would be, and you might have already kind of teased this out already, but what would you say is the premier event or activity as a student that you would choose to attend in the scale of everything that you have going on?
So two things. I would say that Gospel Brunch is an incredible event. It's a powerful event. It fills you up with everything you need to get through the week. And it's the perfect way to kick off our HBCU Week events. Outside of that, it's the college fair. That's where all the magic happens, where the students can, do the high fives and screams with the acceptances on the spot and the scholarship awards. That room is electric, and it is a special moment to see all those students kick off their senior year with such a morale boost. So in September, you get to go back to school knowing you have options. So that college fair is amazing.
Ashley, long-term goals, right? So you're in successful. You have multiple people investing, thousands of people, droves of people kind of coming into the event. So again, back to that earlier part of the interview, like, hey, what have you done for me lately? How do you see this growing and moving forward, 2, 3, 5 years from now?
Yeah, the goal is just to continue to expand our footprint. I'd love to see us across the country activating HBCU Week all over for students everywhere to have access to our opportunities. Now, our applications for scholarships do open online on Friday, September the 27th. So you do not have to be a Delaware resident. You don't have to be a Florida resident. You can be anywhere in the continental United States and apply for those awards. But I'd love to see us face to face with more students, giving them access to that opportunity. So we're going to continue to, talk to these corporate partners, beat these doors down, get these dollars for programming and scholarships, and spread the word across the country.
I love it. And I think, the families and these students you're helping are going to love you as well, too. So I think that's a great place to wrap. I want to thank you so much for spreading the word about what you have going on with HBCU Week. There's nobody better, nobody doing more than you are in this space. And, I want to wish you congratulations and kudos, on a successful path. She is Ashley Christopher. Again, make sure you're following the great work she's doing at HBCU Week on all social media platforms. I am Warren Shaw. You hit me up at Shaw Sports MBA or dope_interviews. And as always, you know what it is and what it has been. It's been another Dope Interviews, y'all. And we're out.
Together we stand, divided we never. The vision is one, striving for the better. Working as a team, working toward a dream. It's not even work when the team is the dream. On a united front, we got our own back. A band of brothers to counteract any attack. One heart in fact, for Forget what the blood say. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. So let's do it for the love, give to the max. Listen to opinion, but react to facts. And remember that together with a shh, but separate, just pieces of it. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA. Dope is what flows in this fam's DNA.
Family represent like a tree with names on it. We're free, no chains on it. Relieved, the pain's gone, I can see. We come together like questions on the quiz. Mojo Flow and Viz, man, you know what it is. And if ignorance is bliss, you're gonna hate this lesson. Organized intellect like a tropical depression. My symbol is the cross, a mic and ghost peppers. Cause I'm just a black sheep growing up to be a shepherd. Moonlighting as a weapon to protect the children. Every brother is a father, dynasties we're building. Max, J and K, Bay, and Isaiah, next level of the family foundation. Understand me?